The state of anime in 2023 could not be worse. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 is being rumored to have halted production after the release of episode 17 this week. It's unfortunate to say, but there is a darker side to anime, and unfortunately animators are finally speaking out. There is no need to shy away from saying this, but there is literally a crisis unfolding within the anime industry, with overworked animators and studio executives profiting more than they have ever done before. It seems like the straw has finally broken the camel's back for the production of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. This is not a sensational narrative just to get clicks and views. This is an actual issue with animators and directors speaking out, and it's something that is not even exclusive to Studio Mappa, but it's an issue with almost every single anime studio and every single anime production. So if you're the type of fan who just blindly likes to consume anime without a care in the world for the people who make it, then this video is not for you. To back up everything that I'm speaking about, I'll be delving into quotes from animators and the decisions of the production committee and the broader implications that all of this has on anime as a whole. We were all made aware of this issue when several animators from Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 had taken to Twitter and had revealed to us the actual dire situation that they were in. These tweets have painted a picture of a production that's in literal hell. I mean, episodes are being completed just hours before their air date. So this Reddit post in particular has actually started going viral, where this individual, Mango Yogurt 10, has compiled together all of these tweets from all of the animators and people working on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. So the post begins by saying Jujutsu Kaisen animators are undergoing a collective meltdown over the past few hours on Twitter. As they're talking about the production crash and their poor working conditions, staff have requested a delay, but they have been denied a delay by the production committee. And this is the emphasis here: episodes are being completed just hours before they are airing. This is really unfortunate because animators are actually asking these studio executives and the people in charge for more time in order to ensure quality of the finished work, and to, you know what, just alleviate some of the stress on the shoulders of the animation staff. But when it comes to the production committee, it's composed of entities like Toho and Shueisha, who have made agreements with Studio Mappa that Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen needs to be released in 2023. This schedule is set in stone, and there are financial and logistical implications if this isn't done by Studio Mappa. Issues are all stemming from way at the top, and they are trickling down onto the animators, and they are the ones who have to suffer here. So the post continues on to say that episode 17 will still look good as it has a stacked list of animators, but from then on it's not looking good. For those of you wondering why can't they just take a break for a couple of episodes and delay it, there are multiple factors at play. Firstly, the production committee is made up of parties like Toho and Shueisha, so unless the majority vote to delay, nothing is going to happen. Secondly, it costs a lot of money to delay an anime production, as it means rebooking air slots with the TV channel that Jujutsu Kaisen is airing on, as well as redoing all of the marketing that they have been doing and pushing back Blu-ray releases. Again, like the poster is saying here, this isn't justification for why it hasn't been delayed. This is just stating all of the different cogs that are at play that are preventing the animators from getting more time to work on the anime. So the director and storyboarder for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 Episode 13, Arai Kazuto, has also voiced his concerns on Twitter, who states that bad news has arrived and they are suddenly overwhelmed. The most boring ending that they can think of, and the festival is over. Yes, disbanded. Now, while the translation by Google is really bad, you can make out that he is clearly emotionally distressed, and just working on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 isn't fun right now. Okubo Shunsuke, director of Episode 12, had shared a disturbing image which symbolized exhaustion and despair of animators. And it's a picture of one of the main protagonists of an anime called Shirobako, which is about making anime, where the character appears to be trying to hang herself while being visibly tired. And yes, this female character is in fact an animator within the show that he is referencing. I mean, it speaks volumes for the amount of mental distress that the anime production has taken on. Another animator working on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 in a now deleted tweet hints about some complaints that he is having regarding the production of an important show that he's working on right now. And this tweet was suspiciously made at the same time as the other animators who were voicing their concerns for working on JJK right now. I mean, this may not even be in reference to this situation, but since everybody is complaining about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2's production, it doesn't take a genius to connect all the dots together. I mean, there are several other animators who are retweeting all of their prior criticisms of Studio Mappa, suggesting that there has been a long-standing issue with this animation studio. And there you have it, one of the animation directors for Jujutsu Kaisen, Rochiya Noble, in a now deleted tweet, very briefly and succinctly says it's over. So for a bit more background, Kevin from Sakugaburo has actually discussed the situation in detail. So these tweets appear to be in reference to Studio Mappa, as Kevin states that it's a reminder that if you hire teams of young, materially ambitious creators, because you want to exploit the bombastic appeal of their work. It's not their fault if it becomes impossible for them to comply with the studio's pathetic planning, as it wasn't the animators who had ruined the schedule, it was already bad in the first place. Kevin goes on to say that it takes time for animators to hone their skills and to bring good quality to an animation production, but unfortunately animators in this day and age are not hired to be efficient. They are being put into very high profile projects. I mean, you have things like Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, all with animation issues, and these highly skilled animators are then being pushed to constantly go all out, with fans either regularly praising how good an anime is on Twitter, or being all too quick to call an anime out as soon as a single issue arises. I think that we are very lucky that we haven't had major issues with some of the episodes that have been airing under these conditions. And you know why these episodes even look good in the first place? Kevin says that it's because of the pride of the artists. They're animating on these shows to build their catalogue of work in order to secure more jobs in the future. And not to mention, they're helping out fellow friends within the animation industry, because this is the type of mindset that these animators who are working on these anime have. It's no secret that if you're an animator, you have to have an insane amount of love for anime. It is this passion which leads you to then study animation, and most of this is done in people's own free time, and after years of honing your skill, an animation studio will come along and then abuse the hell out of you. This is why a lot of episodes end up looking absolutely incredible, despite behind the scenes the scheduling falling completely apart and the animators having meltdowns. I don't think that this issue has just stemmed out of nowhere. This has been brewing for months or even years. Kevin even goes on to say that there comes a point where a limit is reached, where you just can't conjure up an amazing episode out of nowhere, and the quality is actually suffering because of the terrible scheduling of the animation studio. And the most upsetting thing is that people online are so quick to blame the animators for these issues. We had this exact issue happening for Core 2 of Bleach's 1000 Year Blood War arc, where if even a single moment within an episode looked subpar, people were rushing onto Twitter to complain to the animators that they've created a PowerPoint presentation. Kevin makes it very clear here that people need to direct their anger towards the right people, and not the people who are overworked and are breaking their back working on these shows. Kevin wraps up by saying, if Studio Mappa and other animation studios only trample over their artists and take advantage of the pride that they have in their own work, and they only care about the money that is coming in, then they shouldn't be surprised if animators are now putting them on blast publicly. Some JJK fans on Twitter are saying that they hope that episode 17 looks great, but they hope that the anime staff can take a break for the rest of the season. But unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to happen, again for the reasons that I spoke about earlier. There are so many cogs and logistical issues that come with delaying an anime production. So a comment from a user called Mihalza under this Reddit post highlights what is going on with Studio Mappa. So Mihalza says that this situation of the animators having a meltdown is the fault of Manabu Otsuka. This is the CEO of Studio Mappa. Now the issue with this individual is that he has immense greed and he wants immediate quick growth for his company. He wants Mappa, which is a fairly young animation studio, to grow very big in a short amount of time. This is why he's been swallowing up all of these popular shonen series in the anime industry like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Jigoku Raku, One Punch Man, and Attack on Titan, as well as Vinland Saga. The amount of work that this studio is taking on is not normal. There are way too many anime productions occurring in a short span of time, and it leaves the animators spread thin across all of the productions that they are constantly churning out. I mean, look at how much has come out from Studio Mappa in the last 3 years. Some fans would blindly assume that this is Studio Mappa being the GOAT and delivering once again, but they fail to understand the issues behind the scenes of Studio Mappa just taking on so much work. So before even an anime is even thought about, production committees need to come together in order to secure sponsors, as well as schedule when the anime is going to be released so that they can tie together all of their marketing and merchandise with the release of the anime. So there are a lot of people involved when an anime is released. So these production committees, after coming together, then ask an animation studio to make this anime, and again the animation studio is given a certain time frame that they need to have this anime released for, and this is a contractual obligation. For example, a contractual obligation would have been Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 needs to air in 2023. An agreement like this between the production committee and the animation studio would have been made when Mappa had released Season 1. So we know that Season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen had ended in March 2021. And following this, the animators went on to work on Jujutsu Kaisen 0 the movie, which released in December of 2021. This means that theoretically, the animators working on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 would have had the entirety of 2022 as well as half of 2023 to work on Season 2. This sounds like an excellent situation, but when you dig deeper, you realize that what actually had happened in 2022, Studio Mappa ended up releasing Chainsaw Man. Man. Again, as this post says, this is thanks to the greed of the CEO of Mappa. So the unique thing about Chainsaw Man is that the CEO of Studio Mappa knew that this was an incredibly popular manga. So what did he do to capitalize upon this? Well, he sidestepped the formation of an entire production committee for Chainsaw Man, and he ended up getting the rights to Chainsaw Man's production for Studio Mappa only. This means that nobody else was working with Studio Mappa in a typical production committee, so all of the profits from merchandise collaborations and Blu-ray releases for Chainsaw Man would not go to the production committee because there isn't one for Chainsaw Man, so the profits are fed to Mappa and only Mappa. This means that the entire production is funded by Studio Mappa and not by a production committee, which is usually comprised of sponsors and other companies who fund the release of the anime by then releasing games, figures, or merchandise related to the anime to recoup and profit on the sponsorship that they have made. Like I mentioned, the Jujutsu Kaisen production committee was made up of Toho and Shueisha, and typical animation committees are made up of several different sponsors. The one that is most frequently seen is Bandai, who of course are responsible for figures and even releasing games, but when it comes to Chainsaw Man, Studio Mappa funded Chainsaw Man itself, which was a very risky move on their part. Chainsaw Man shares a lot of its animators with Jujutsu Kaisen, if you didn't know. So instead of the Jujutsu Kaisen animators having a year and a half to work on season 2 after the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, they instead were told to work on Chainsaw Man season 1. Chainsaw Man season 1 ended up releasing in October of 2022. I'm sure you can appreciate that the animators had nowhere near enough time to work on season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Mappa had decided to do this. They had decided to get the rights of Chainsaw Man to capitalize on its popularity, and in the end, the contract between the Jujutsu Kaisen production committee and Studio Mappa ended up suffering. Studio Mappa were well aware of when season 2 had to air, but because they wanted to release Chainsaw Man as soon as possible, it set back the entire production of Jujutsu Kaisen. The Jujutsu Kaisen production committee in fact gave Mappa 2 years to work on season 2, but the CEO and all of the other executives of Studio Mappa had decided to take on Chainsaw Man, leaving the Jujutsu Kaisen animators less time to work on the Hidden Inventory arc and the Shibuya Incident arc. Chainsaw Man season 1 of the anime was Otsuka's pet project, all because it was a popular manga series. He'd wanted to quickly release a corresponding anime in order to make a ton of money, and since there was no production committee for Chainsaw Man, he didn't have to divide up the profits like he does with Jujutsu Kaisen, which has a production committee of its own. So it seems like the Jujutsu Kaisen production committee isn't to blame for what's happening. All of the fault lies with the CEO of Studio Mappa, as well as Studio Mappa's executives. This post then goes on to say that Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 had taken 1 year and a half to make, while Chainsaw Man season 1, which ended in December 2022, and the Hidden Inventory arc airing in July 2023, meant that from the 2 years that the production committee had given to Mappa to animate season 2 Jujutsu Kaisen, the CEO of Mappa had only given the animators 6 months to work on it. This is what has led to animators working on current episodes of the Shibuya Incident arc hours before they air. And while of course animators have issues for every single studio that they work for, the issues that come with working for Studio Mappa are just exponential. This is because of the terrible leadership behind the studio. Even taking a step back from Studio Mappa and analyzing what is happening with Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, all of this ultimately is a cause of the systemic issues within the Japanese animation industry. And this is what has allowed the CEO of Studio Mappa to exploit the animation industry and to make things even worse for animators. For a long time, we have been made aware of the animation industry structure, with its over-reliance on working on animators who are absolutely exhausted, moving from one project to another, and in general, the entire way of how anime is made needs to be overhauled, because this current model just prioritizes profits and deadlines over the well-being of animators, and in the end, the quality of the animation that is created suffers, as well as the well-being of the animators suffers. So while it's normal for fans to get possessive and defensive of what anime that they are following, you need to understand the situation that is going on behind some of the productions of these anime. What Studio Mappa is doing is not right, and it's coming at a massive cost, and the well-being of animators is paying a massive price for it. In order for real change to happen, more fans need to be aware of what is going on and the conditions in which these animators are working under. I don't know what more there is to say other than I hope that fans support these animators who are voicing their concerns. I mean, the best case scenario would be that the production for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 is delayed, the production committee ends up taking the hit for Studio Mappa's greed, and the animators who are working on season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen get the time that they need to release a quality product. I mean, this is an ideal situation, but we don't live in an ideal world, because production committees are also greedy, and they're going to turn around and say that, well, we give you 2 years to work on season 2, and Mappa is contractually obligated to release these episodes in 2023, so no matter what happens and in whatever condition these episodes are going to be in, they're going to release this year. It's just a terrible situation for everyone involved, and it all stems from the higher-ups at Studio Mappa, its CEO and the executives. So what do you think about these issues in the anime industry? Do you think that this is a massive wake-up call to fans around the world for them to demand better working conditions for the animators who are working on their favorite series? Definitely continue the discussion in the comments and let me know all of your thoughts on this really controversial issue. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this video, and I just really hope that things get better for the animators who are working on Jujutsu Kaisen.
If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.